It's just a few days before New Year's Day. And did you ever wonder how those people in the South cook their black-eyed peas so that if they eat them on New Year's Day, they have good luck for the next year? Maybe you'd even like to try that recipe. Well, let me show you how we cook them in Mississippi. The first thing I'm going to do is take those black-eyed peas, measure a couple of cups. Now, if you're only cooking for one, you might only want to cook 1 cup. Sorry about that. I have a little visitor. Or if you're cooking for more people, you might want to cook more. But in my case, I'm going to cook 2 cups. So I've measured my 2 cups into a colander. And I'm going to rinse them well. Sorry, but my kitty cat was just on his way up to the top of the refrigerator where he likes to. Well, actually, he's just on his way to the dishwasher. From there, he'll probably go on to the top of the refrigerator, which is where he likes to hang out a lot. Okay, so I've got the black-eyed peas washed. Now I'm going to transfer them to a Dutch oven or large pot, whatever you have. I'm going to just cover them with water. Come on, big man. Cover them well with water. I'm going to add that little shake of baking powder. I think I got more than I wanted, but it'll be all right. Now I'm going to cover the pot. And set it aside to set overnight. Now, in my part of the country, the other part of that equation is black-eyed peas and hog jowl. That's supposed to be the lucky trick. You cook the black-eyed peas with the hog jowl, and it makes them lucky. If you eat them on New Year's Day, you'll have good luck for the year. Now, in other parts of the country and other parts of the South, some sort of greens is cooked with them. In some places it's cabbage, in some places it's spinach, and in some places it's collard greens. But some sort of green is supposed to be added to that equation. But for my area, it was always just growing up, I heard you have to eat your black-eyed peas and hog jowl. So I happen to have a hog jowl in the freezer. It's a nice size one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in another Dutch oven and cover it with water. So I've got the ham hock put into the Dutch oven, covered with water, and I'm going to put it on the stove and bring it to a boil, a full rolling boil. Then when it comes to a full rolling boil, I'm going to reduce the heat and let it simmer for approximately an hour. At that point, I'll let it cool enough so that I can put it in the refrigerator and let it sit overnight. and tomorrow morning we'll continue with our recipe. So we have our black-eyed peas that have been rinsed well, covered with water, with a little shake of baking soda to burp them. And now they're going to sit overnight to soften. And in a different Dutch oven, different pot, we have our ham hock that we're going to boil for about an hour and then put in the refrigerator to sit overnight. And tomorrow morning we'll continue with our recipe. The black-eyed peas have been soaking in soda water overnight, and the hog jowl and the broth that it was cooked in has been sitting in the refrigerator overnight. So let's put this pot of beans together and start cooking it. So the first thing I'm going to do is drain the water, drain the soda water off the peas. And back into the pot they go. And to that, I'm going to pour the broth that the hog jowl was cooked in. Okay, so I removed the hog jowl, cut it up, chopped the meat into little chunks, and I've also skimmed the fat off the broth. This is what I'm going to cook the black-eyed peas in. Is the broth off the hog jowl. Now a lot of people would just start cooking the peas and drop the hog jowl in and let it cook. But I like to remove as much of the fat as I can. I like the flavor of the meat. I just don't like the fat. Okay, so now I'm going to turn the burner under the pot of black-eyed peas on high and get them started cooking. I've got a little bit more of the broth in case I need to add some liquid as it cooks. In a cast iron skillet back here on another burner, which I'm about to turn on, has some bacon drippings. Okay, and over here I have chopped up a large onion, 2 stalks of celery, the lean meat out of the hog jowl, which there's only about half a cup of it. So I also chopped up some beef sausage, country style smoked sausage in little chunks, about a half a cup of that. Now I've turned the burner under the black-eyed peas to high, but as soon as it starts boiling, I'll reduce the heat. We don't want to cook black eyes at a real high heat because they can be overcooked. All that'll be left is the skins, really. So you want to avoid overcooking the black-eyed peas. Now to the bacon drippings, I'm adding the onion, the celery, and the sausage. Now normally I would cook the sausage separately, but this is beef sausage and it really doesn't have very much fat in it. Now I do want to say, even though I'm going to add all these goodies to the black-eyed peas, and I like it this way very much. It makes them a little more special. I actually prefer my black-eyed peas and all other dried beans cooked without any meat. I always put onion, but normally I don't really put meat in them. Okay, so the peas are starting to cook. I'm going to reduce the heat under the beans. And I'm going to go ahead and put the meat from the ham hock into the peas. And it looks like the onion, celery, and sausage are about done, so I'm going to scoop them out with a slotted spoon. If there is a little grease in the bottom of the pan, I don't want to add that. Now, a lot of people put garlic and a good many other spices. I don't normally put anything but salt and pepper. I'm going to go ahead and add the pepper, and I'm going to wait until the peas are closer to being done before I add the salt. We've got all this goodness put together in here. And I'm going to add just a little red pepper flakes. I'm only going to put about a quarter of a teaspoon of the red pepper flakes because these peppers are very hot. So we're going to let these cook, and it probably won't take much longer than an hour because they have been soaking overnight. So in about 45 minutes, I'll go ahead and add some salt. But those are really the only secrets I have about cooking black-eyed peas. Our black-eyed peas have simmered now for about 40 minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and add the salt now. They're almost done. In another 10 or 15 minutes, they should be done. I'm just going to add a little salt and then taste it in a couple of minutes. The black-eyed peas turned out just perfectly. They're cooked until they're tender, but they're not overcooked. And I've made some little cornbread hoe cakes, which is my favorite kind of cornbread. And if I decide I need a little bit extra heat, I have my bottle of Louisiana hot sauce ready. So do these black-eyed peas hold some magic that will make the year turn out prosperous and happy? I don't know, but we'll enjoy eating them all the same. Thanks for stopping by.